about transparency. And I'm just wondering, and in the interest of fairness and equity, why the issue with the parking that's being discussed wasn't an issue, because COVID and these things were implemented back in 2021. And now we're 5 years into it, and we're only addressing the last 4 months, which has been since you've been here as mayor. And prior to that, during the prior administration, when Larry Fox was here, and the chief of police was Leonard Guida, who happens to be, in the interest of full disclosure, Louann Bartlett's brother, why that wasn't raised before.
Well, and just to make sure you're fully informed, a lot of this ties back to COVID, and Greg, you could probably explain better, but the governor basically.
The state has continuously extended for the last, up through this year now, through November of 2025, continuously extended the premises expansion permits.
When
So-
did that change?
Changed during COVID, that you could move your operations outdoors. At first, it was an
Okay.
emergency issue. They just passed, it was December, they passed the law. They still haven't issued the guidance. They have 24 more days, apparently. I don't know how they're gonna do that, because they haven't published it. You're supposed to publish that for 60 days. So the rules on what DRCs is actually allowed to have haven't been written yet by the state under the ABC, which largely guides what we do here for zoning. And they were legally out there because they applied for the temporary permit. They have dispensation from the ABC. And until very recently, they was legal out there. And then now it's technically the emergency is passed, but they still haven't issued the guidance as to what they're allowed to do with that newly licensed and expanded premises. So you can go on the ABC website. I check every single day since January 14th, frankly, when Matt and I, all this started under this current administration, but they haven't issued the guidance. So I don't know what to tell you at this point. You know, the town is using.
My point is not, my point is that it's only become an issue for this particular business, the Army Navy store, where there's been, multiple times where this has been raised. And it wasn't raised prior to Mayor Gubitosi. I don't remember ever once seeing Louann Bartlett approaching on behalf of all of the businesses in that area and raising an issue of parking, and her brother was the chief of police. And during his tenure and Mayor Fox, their tenure, it was never an issue, but now it is an issue. And so I'm just making that point and making it clear, because a lot of people don't understand the familial relationship between Ms. Bartlett and Chief of Police Leonard Guida. I'm not asking for you to weigh in, I'm just stating it on the record, because a lot of people don't understand that.
In fairness, we heard from Miss Bartlett and that business a long time before they came to this room last month or whenever it was. Like, we heard from her.
I don't remember it. And
But
a lot
I'm
of
saying we
people
heard,
on
like,
social,
people-
maybe you have,
People, right, they
the
write,
council
the
maybe.
council,
that's
they
right.
email the council.
But I'm saying, I just see a lot of harassment coming in about, what's going on this month. And I just don't remember that being an issue. I don't remember Mayor Fox being badgered month after month about what was the status and why wasn't that being addressed.
Again,
during his tenure.
The state law has changed. I mean, like,
there's
like Greg said, so it only was this year where, they're
People have
finally
been complaining
saying,
about that for 5 years. I mean, it's not something that I've heard recently. In fact, I've had to look this up several times over the years as to what the current status of the premises expansion permit law is. The permanent solution.
So it's in limbo at this point.
So they have passed a statute as part of the municipal land use law that attempts to govern this. But the guidance from the ABC as to how you're allowed to set up that premises is not, they have until May 30th under the law that was passed November 30th of last year, 6 months. So in large part, we don't have answers because we're not, the ABC tells the bar what to do fundamentally.
And
We
I
have
think
local
that's very
home
important
rule.
what you're saying, and that you're putting that out there and explaining that, because a lot of it is not up to this council and is not up to this legislative.
I have to be honest with you, in large part, I think the law that they recently passed, I mean, I think it violates the home rule provisions of the Constitution. That's not an issue here for today, but fundamentally, the state has taken this issue out of the locality's hands in large part, which is why we didn't really have any recourse for a number of years. And now we're not sure what the recourse is, frankly. Sitting here right now, I can tell you that I've spent 12 hours this week researching, discussing with the land use board attorney, the professionals here, exactly how you administer this, because there is no guidance at present that's published.
And I thank you for that, and I think that was a very important point to be.
Yeah, I mean, what we're trying to do, as you heard Lisa, is like, you know, fundamentally, it's not really up, this is a decision. Or be arbiter between the neighbors and the establishment
So
or property owners.
And the courts at this
In
point.
for those zoning violations, municipal court, yes. If there's a land use application, that, I mean, we don't know which direction it's gonna go, because it's not even clear really to the applicant what they're supposed to do at this point, to be honest with you.
And I
So-
appreciate that, that's a very important point to have been brought out,
Okay.
because.
I'm not sure that's me, I feel fine.
Well, I could, you know, and it's an objective opinion, and it's a factual thing, and that it's not the fault of this legislative body, and it's out of this legislative body's hands at this point. So I just want that to be clear.
Yeah, no, thank you for your comments. I would just add,